try this again. Wow. So let's see if you're with me. Put let me if you're still with me, throw an emoji up or a number one in the chat room. And Kira, I'm sorry I missed you. I didn't see that you were on. I apologize. I missed that. So if you're still here, oh, Kim is here. Hey, Kim, how we doing? I know I missed a couple people I didn't see. I went back, I saw. So if you're in, let me know that you're here. I see Kim is here. I'm coming back on. I got knocked off the last time. I have no idea, but was discussing my books tonight, guys. So if you're coming back in the second time, I was just going through my books and just giving you a little idea about the books that I've written and a little something from that. So real quick as I recap. So I don't even know. I guess the internet was like, nope, they didn't like what I was saying about the big girls that I love. I had read a little bit from my book there, but yeah, going back over my books here. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'm back. I've been around. I've been on Facebook all this time. I've been doing videos in all that time, but I stopped using Periscope a couple years back. I came on a couple times a couple years ago and then fell back off from Periscope. But I've been on Facebook pretty much every day. Between Instagram and Facebook, I've been on every day pretty much. But now with the use of Restream here, I'm on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook at the same time. And I'm on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 o'clock for Unapologetically Keith. That's my regular platform, my regular program discussing different things with Crisis. Tonight, I just wanted to have an impromptu chat about my work, but it's great to see you, Kim. So please lock it in. I'll be on tomorrow night, 9:30. But every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I will be on discussing. Hey, Kim, how we doing? Good evening. Discussing different things that deal with crisis. Also, you can always go to YouTube. If you miss any of the videos, you can go to YouTube because I'm doing YouTube live as well. So when I'm done, the videos are then uploaded to YouTube. So you can always check me out. Yeah, it's great to see you too. And so I don't even know what happened. My computer just shut off in the middle of what's name. So I was going over my books, guys. So book number one, Man in Transition, which was poetry. Told you a little story about that. And book number two, my favorite and the one that I have sold the most copies. I've sold about 12,000 copies of this book here. Came out in 2010, From Gigolo to Jesus. This right here is my memoir. This right here tells you everything about me. This book was featured in Black Expressions Book Club, which everybody tried to figure out how did I get into Black Expression Book Club, and which was featured in Jet, Essence, and Ebony Magazine. And this is what I was just reading from. I guess somebody did not like what I was reading and pulled the plug on me, but I use this book to open doors. I use this book for folks to understand by reading my dirt. It allows them to feel comfortable in sharing with me there. So I still use that book, counseling. This book right here, Lukewarm Saint. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I really messed up here. And I'm going to write this wrong. And I'm gonna tell you why. I read this, and I'm not gonna just toot my own horn for the sake of tooting it, but I'm going to. I read my book and I was very upset because I did not give this book its due. And I'm gonna do a whole new campaign when I finish book two. Now this is Lukewarm Saint 1. This is Kevin Watkins, a young Brooklyn educator, torn between his love of women and something just not feeling right. That he's just knowing something's not right inside his spirit. He's not sure. These are his two friends, and his two friends, one is a club owner, strip club owner. One is a transformed street guy who is now into the church. And both of them are pulling him in both directions. And this is his mother and grandmother. And both of them are trying to explain to him that if he doesn't give up this affair with all these women, it's going to cost him like it did his father and his grandfather. And you learn what happened to his father. And that's your book. Thank you, Lise. I feel you. And the thing with this book here, when I read it, it made me feel the way that I was hoping that readers would feel when they read it. And that's when I said to myself, Keith, you really did readers wrong. Because if anybody knows me, knows that I'm a very passionate, very emotional, very caring person. Now, I wasn't before. And this is why you got to read this book. Because when you read this, you're going to say, nah, that can't be Keith. Yeah, well, the Keith then was horrible. But Lukewarm Saint actually reads the way I wanted it to read. And it flowed the way I wanted it to flow from beginning to end. And the reason why I'm mad with myself is that I love to write while I used to. And I'm getting that back. And I always write with my heart. And that's why I said when I said tonight I'm discussing my books and the writing process. I always write from my heart. So there's always going to be some pain there. And it's not that I carry around a lot of pain with me. It's just that I understand it because I caused so much. And then when you change your life like I did, and now I'm actually a pastor, when you're now trying to save lives, when you're now counseling and listening to other people saying the things that you used to say, the reason why it hurts is because you then understand the damage that you did to other women. So these two books are so connected because this is the real me. This is who Keith was and who Keith was becoming. This is a fictional version, and I understood him because I was him, and I made sure that when I wrote the book. Now, I was saying earlier, my own mother read Lukewarm Saint, and she said, "This is you." And I said, "No, Mom, it's a fictional character." She said, "I ain't trying to hear all that. That's you. It's your two boys, it's your partner, Johnny and TJ, and I guess this is me and your grandmother, huh?" And I said, "Y'all might be my influence, but it's not me, Mom." She said, "I ain't trying to hear that," and walked away. She wasn't trying to hear it. So when my own mother can say the book made her believe it was her son, then I hit home and I was good. And as you see, Lisa says that's her book. And a lot of people told me they liked it, but I didn't run with it. And I didn't do anything. I literally put the book to sleep. And I let everything else get in the way. The building of my counseling practice, and not that those were bad things. Not that those were bad things. And guys, trust me. Let me ask you guys a question who I have on tonight. And Kim, if I have you, and Lisa, I know I have you. Have you ever just should have been doing something and just life got in the way, and then you look up and wonder what happened to the thing you should have been doing? Am I the only one? Give me a thumbs up or a one. Because that's what happened. I literally put my writing on hold to build the other parts of my life. And I really did my writing a disservice because I didn't stop and think of how many people I could actually help. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. I'm glad somebody feels the same way I do. Just to write. And I say because this, and to make sure that I'm going to be coming on live because you're not alone. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Lise. Thank you so much, guys. I think the thing for me was that I worried so much about not being the man that I used to be. And the only way you're fully going to understand is that if you've read From Gigolo to Jesus, you're going to find that man disgusting. And I think I worried so much about not being him and serving the Lord that I closed the door off to anything that kind of would head in that direction. So I wasn't trusting myself, if that makes sense to you guys. And so because of that, things that I did, things that I should have done for the book, I didn't. I wanted to write since I was in my 30s and just started. Okay, listen, you're here now. Don't put that to sleep, Kim. Please don't. My God, don't do that. Look, whenever you start, keep writing. Let me tell you something. Right? This book here Kevin is a talented educator torn between his misogynistic behaviors with women and the increasing internal struggle which seems to arise after each conquest. Not sure what to do, he turns to his mother and grandmother. Having living through this behavior in the past, they attempted to offer absolution to his troubled state. Their answer is to listen to the Lord and give in to what he wants from you. Kevin has other forces at play in his life. He centers between two friends who are polar opposites. Rich, the former drug dealer turned Christian and family man, works diligently to help Kevin see the errors of his ways. Then there's James, a strip club owner, who says there's nothing wrong with being as many women as possible. Kevin loves them both, but something has to give in this tug of war. How can Kevin silence the subtle voice inside him? He knows each move comes with a cost. What will it take for him to make a decision? Read for yourself and take this walk with Kevin. Take this walk as Kevin fights not to become a lukewarm saint. I've been putting off my writing, almost finished my first book. Okay. Listen, Kim and Kim. Well, first of all, Kim R., don't put off your writing. Find time. I made that mistake and I'm changing that. And I think that's why I've committed to show up live. This is why I came on tonight. I'm already set to come on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But then I thought about something. I don't talk about my books. I post about them and I'll share some things and I put up some memes and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't really come on and talk about my books. And I'm going to be honest, like, I think because I put so much of me into my books, I tend to just, like, I still don't like to hear other people read my stuff. I was that way when I did poetry. I would kind of fade to the black when somebody would read it because I love to read my own stuff, but I get these chills when somebody reads my work. I get excited, and I don't want people to see that boyish like excitement in me. So but I can't lie. It's a joy to be an author, and I got away from that. And I let the business part and I let the Belvin publishing part move me away from being an author. Even now, I have I'm reorganizing my business because I'm trying to start my counseling practice. And I found that I was drifting so far away from my writing that I was like, I haven't written anything. I haven't written a poem. And actually, I had a young lady, shout out to Clarity, who asked me, Big Dog, when are you and I going to finish this poetry book? You and I would really create an outstanding poetry book. And she's in one of the poetic anthologies that I created through the company. And I told her, okay, we'll talk about it, but I haven't really made any moves. I've written like 2 poems in the last 8 years, 7 years, whatever it's been. And when I think of the volume of the writings, and then when I looked at how many incomplete pieces and stories that I have books. Oh my God, I have books inside my head that need to get out. And so I'm working on how to do that. I mean, Lukewarm Saint 2, Fox in the Hen House, Lukewarm Saint 3, Redemption, Restoration. I keep saying Redemption, Restoration, Angel Eyes, which is a story of a BBW young lady who is torn because she has these beautiful eyes, but she has basically 2 lives that she's living. She's a very nondescript. She keeps to herself because she is not really happy with being a big girl, but then she has this secret nightlife, but she doesn't want anybody to know it's her. So she always covers her face and all you can see is these very beautiful eyes. So she's become a well-known people in the party circles and the swing circles. And she's basically a sexual demon, but all they know is her eyes and they don't know anything else about her. And so, and there's a whole twist in that. And then I'm 15,000 words in on a story called Josiah's Pain, which is kind of set in a Sex and the City type situation with 4 women, with Josiah being the main character, who she spends her time explaining to her girlfriends all her sexual escapades, but she's fearful of love. And her girlfriend keeps saying, if you would just find love, you could get away from, but her behavior is based on what happened to her when she was younger. And I tell a whole story about it. I'm like 15,000 words in and I just put the story to sleep. It's just sitting there on my computer, Josiah's Pain. And I have God knows how many short stories. So that's why I did The Choice. That's the book that I didn't get to. I was explaining. My most recent book is a short ebook, 7,000 words. It's called The Choice, a love story. And it just takes you into the life of a couple who this was their first honeymoon. And it really asks you the question of what would you do? What are you willing to do for the person that you love? How far is too far? And in 7,000 words, I think I give you something to hold on to at the end of the story. And that's on my website too. And I sent it out. I sent it out to people. Good morning. Hey, brother Jose. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, I'm up late, man. I'm just kicking it with the people. Just felt like coming on and doing something different. Everything's been some very heavy stuff that I've been on in crisis. I just want to relax and just talk about my books today. But I am proud of all my books. And as I was saying before, all my books are written with my heart in mind because I want to help, but I want to entertain. But I want to draw you in because my books are written in such a way that you will be able to find yourself in my stories. Even in the nonfiction, you'll be able to find yourself. Now, and from Gigolo to Jesus, you're going to see somebody that you know when you read my book. Your uncle, your father, your brother, your baby daddy, your ex-husband, your husband now. You're going to see a man that you know who everything is about the panties. And I think one of the chapters, if you ever really want to see the sex versus love chapter, I believe it's the second chapter, or is it the first? I'm gonna tell you something. The sex versus love is very important because, um, yeah, I talk about my teenage years. It's the second chapter. Was because when I fell in love, I've been in love a few times, and the thing that I didn't realize when I was younger with love, I didn't realize the work that's required, and I didn't realize the commitment that is necessary to sustain love. And when you get older and you look back, you're going to see how God is very mysterious. Because when you look at what you might have given away, and then when you are blessed again, you do question, like, why me? When so many other people who have not done any of the dirt that I've done deserves to be in the situation that I am in right now. But we're not supposed to question God. And I think that makes it hard too, is that sometimes when I look at some of the women that I hurt who are not doing as well as I am in terms of relationships, or even maybe worse, I feel horrible because I think that I had something to do with that. Now, I don't beat myself up because I have to be prepared and ready to help whoever needs me as a counselor, and that's what I do. But when I wrote this chapter here, was that it really talked about being in love at 18 and not understanding it, because I didn't understand what love was. I was 17 actually. I started college when I was 17, and I fell in love that November. And I was so in love that I heard my girlfriend say she wanted a Fendi bag, and I didn't even know what Fendi was, guys. We had exchanged. I had gave her a big stuffed horse, and she gave me like a Garfield doll. Yes, we was 18. This is what kids do. But I heard her telling her girlfriends. I was laying on her lap in the school lunchroom in the lounge area, and I heard her tell her girlfriends. She said, "Well, what do you really want for Christmas?" She said, "Girl, I want a Fendi bag, but my mom ain't gonna buy that." And I'm sitting there, and I said, "Okay, I just got some Pell money," and I said, "I'm going to get my girl a Fendi bag." So Christmas Eve, 1985. 1985. I was on 34th Street, lightly snowing, on Christmas Eve, because the only place that I was told that you could get a real Fendi bag was Macy's. So here my stupid behind was in Macy's on Christmas Eve. Lord, I ain't never seen that many people in my life. I also didn't realize how much Fendi cost. Now, ladies, you're going to realize how stupid I am as I tell you this story. So I go into this thing, I go into Macy's, hustling, bustling all over the place. Everybody moving at breakneck speed. I go to the security guard and I said, "Excuse me, buddy. I want to get a Fendi bag." And he said, "Over there, stupid." New York. I turn around, there's a whole Fendi section. I'm like, okay. Now, again, listen to me. I don't know what Fendi is. I've never even heard of Fendi. I don't know what Fendi. I don't know what Fendi is. I don't even know what it looks like. So there's a whole Fendi section, and I see all these very good-looking bags and everything else. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I walk up to the counter, and the woman is hello, and I'm super excited. I said, "I want to get my girlfriend a Fendi bag." She said, "Okay," and she almost had them ready. She reached under the counter, bang, 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 put the 4 bags down, and she goes, "So this one here is, and then this," and she starts explaining all the bags, and I'm like, "Yeah. How much is this one?" She said, "This one is $1,600, and this one is $1,400, and I can give you this one. This one is $1,800, but this one," and I said, "How much is the little one?" And she said, "Oh, this was only $900," and I'm like, "For a bag?" Yes, I tell you, I was stupid. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, the little one is 900," and then she looked at me like this. She looked at me like, "Okay." She said, "How much do you have?" I had about $240 on me, and I was only trying to spend 100. Now I know y'all laughing. Nigga, what kind of Fendi bag was you gonna get for 100? I should have went out to Canal Street, got a fake one. So I said, I got 200. She put this Tootsie Roll bag down, a clutch, this other little bag, and another little bag. I'm like, well, what happened to the big monstrous bags? She said this little Tootsie Roll bag with the handle is $220. The clutch is $170. This purse right here is $250, and this one here is $210. What? What? I'm looking around. I'm like, Fendi? What? I said, all right. So I'm looking at the little Tootsie Roll thing, and to me that was embarrassing. I'm like, I did not come to Manhattan on Christmas Eve, 34th Street, all these people for a little Tootsie Roll bag. Who buys a Tootsie Roll bag anyway? I guess that's a woman thing. And yes, I'm showing how stupid I am as a man. So I said, I'm going to go with the clutch. Why? Because it was the biggest bag of the three, but it had no handle. So I guess that's why it was less expensive, but bigger. So she wrapped it up. And so I come home and I'm excited. And I knew I was going to see her the next day for Christmas. And so I asked her, "Can you come by my house Christmas afternoon?" Because we were supposed to go out Christmas night to go over to her family's house. So I said, "Can you come over to my house?" So she came over. She had already met my mom and talking and everything. And so she's asked me how the holiday was. It was great, da da da. My sister had a good time. I put together all her toys. And I said, "I got something for you." She said, "What?" And when I gave her the bag, guys, she's looking at me. She said, "But we already gave gifts. We exchanged gifts." I said, "No, I wanted to get you something." Oh, when she tore that bag open and she saw the Macy's box and she was thinking, "Nigga, who'd you rob?" And I, so she opens up the Macy's bag, box or whatever, and she starts tearing into. And Macy's has some nice gift wrap. Don't get it twisted. Macy's, they earn their money. When she saw the Fendi bag, I don't know what she checked to see if it was real because she like bent something back or whatever. And then she said, "Oh, this is a real one." And I'm thinking, with everything that I went through to get this motherfucker, it better be a real. And sure enough, the tears that she had was incredible. And you know what? It made it all worthwhile. And it's still to date one of the best Christmases that I ever had. But here's the thing, and this is why it's important with this book, guys. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you have not read From Gigolo to Jesus, please get it. Actually, you can get all my books. I'll talk about that in a second. That night, I got to meet her family, and they did not approve me because I was a street dude, and they were her her cousin is Harry Hamilton that used to play for the Jets, and her uncle used to play for Penn State Nittany Lion. It's like everybody in the house. And let me tell you who she is. I'm not going to give her name, but you know who she is. You've heard her sing, and trust me, if you've ever heard Rob Bass's "It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right," she's the young lady singing in the background. And one of the most very familiar, famous hip hop songs of all time. And she's the one that goes, "It takes two to make a thing go right." That's her. And she was signed to Profile Records years ago, but her manager ran away with some dough and the contract fell apart. She did create a single. She did make her single, which got top 40. It made top 40 of her top 100. And she also sang on Taylor Danes sang on her song, and she sung on Taylor Danes' song. And then it just kind of fell apart from there. So yeah, that's my former ex-girlfriend. So that Christmas was just horrible at the end of the night because her family was just treating me so bad, but she was just, "Don't worry about it, baby. Don't worry about my family." It was just, everything was cool. So please explain to me why, when her grandmother passed away on January 13th, 2016, we didn't talk because I didn't, again, being young and stupid, I didn't realize that when the matriarch of your family passes, it sucks the whole family in, especially if it's all of a sudden. Now, we just went from her being okay and everybody surrounding and praying with her at Christmas to now her not being here less than a month later. It was devastating to the family, but I'm young and I'm stupid and I'm mad that I can't see the girlfriend that I love, and I just turned 18 that December. And so, of course, I cheated. Yeah, I'm stupid. That's why you got to read the book. I cheated with a girl that had the same name, who she had told me not to mess with, who went to the same college. And by Valentine's Day, we were slowly trying to get back to where we were, and everything was great. By Valentine's Day, we was good, and I had tried to leave the other chick alone and got caught. So by March, my relationship was over. And that's when I realized how much energy and the type of commitment that is required to love somebody. Now, I'm going to tell you something. And over the years, what I've learned on another live, ask me to tell you the rest of the story. I'm not going to do it tonight because it's late. But on another live, and I'll come back on and talk about love and all that other stuff because I really do enjoy talking about it. But ask me how I messed up when I had an opportunity to put it all back together, and I quit and I gave up. And she married another man and still with him some 35 years later. So it wasn't meant to be because I'm happily married now. But trust me, one of the few women that I ever loved unconditionally, who I fell in love with at first sight. But the reason why that chapter is so important is that I didn't understand that sex versus love, sex doesn't compare to real love. But when you're young and stupid, you don't realize that. And you put so much emphasis on sex that you wound up losing real love. And that's another thing that I try to share with the young men. And this is part of what I'm mad at myself for not giving my books the life that they deserve. I've always been a storyteller. And I got away from it because I got caught focusing on business, which was never really my main focus. But when you got to live, or when you're trying to put things together, this is what happens. And it's even part of the reason why I stopped coming on live as much, because I just was trying to get business done. And I kind of forgot. And when I'm in a classroom, man, my kids enjoy it. And even now, I'm so excited that when I started my program up at the prison, to just be back in the classroom and be around kids. And, you know, this is what I do. And if you haven't read my work, shame on you. But in my stories, all of my books tell a story. All of my books have a piece of me in them because I don't know how to separate me from my writing. So if you have never read any of my books, go to bravenpublishing.com. Actually, I'll give it to you here. You can go to the website. This is actually what it is. I always say Braven Publishing and people always get it wrong. So I will, oh, Lord, I can't type tonight. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to give anybody who reads this is what you have to do to get 20% off. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me put that there. There we go. So, no, listen, I'm here. I'm not going away, Kim. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But that's the link. Hold that down. That's my website, of course. It's right there behind me. See, Braven Publishing. If you can't see it, there it is. But that's the code right there, KL Belvin. You put that code in, you get 20% off whatever you purchase. All my books are on my website. The ebook is there. The choice. I'm proud of that story too. But I'm proud of all my books. And like I said, I'm going to be coming on more to discuss writing in general, or just, giving you some of the stories behind the books and just pulling out things. Because the one thing I am going to do, and is no more, I'm going to finish Lukewarm Saint 2. I'm going to finish Making Marriage Cool Again, which is a guide on little things to make your marriage and your relationship a little more fun and things like that. Just some little tips and tricks that I found that can keep your marriage solid. So Making Marriage Cool Again, Lukewarm Saint 2, and Josiah's Pain. I am going to finish those because they all have something to say to somebody. And I'm no longer going to treat my books like stepchildren. So you will see me coming on a lot more and just giving you talks about my books. And if it's something that you would like, send me an email. Keith Belvin, actually, I'll give you my email address too. Let me know what you think. I would love, let me know what you think about tonight, actually. Because I'm sad that I had to do it in 2 parts. But, my email. Okay, there we go. Here's my email address, guys. Send me an email and let me know what you think. Now, that's my direct email, my business email, one of them anyway. I got a bunch. But Kim and Kim, if you're watching, make sure you find time to write. I'm having a redo, and when you have ADD like I do, nice. But yeah, I got the 4 books here. Also, you know what? Hold on a second. I almost forgot. And I need to be ashamed of myself. I should have had these available to you. Okay. There we go. Almost forgot these 2. And they're on the website too. This one, 2009, Anthology of the Year. I am right there. KL Belvin, that's me. One of the Soul Brothers, 2009, Anthology of the Year, The Soul of a Man. 13 brothers who were called to come together. We came together to write stories of men overcoming negative situations through their faith. Some fiction, some nonfiction. But we won an award, national award. 2009 Anthology of the Year. So I am an award-winning author. So then, 6 years later, Elise Gabriel, shout out to Elise Gabriel, she called us back. This time, she asked us to do it again. And I was invited to come back and be a part of The Soul of a Man Part 2, Make Me Want to Holler. And of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, of the 17, 18 men, there's 13 in the other book. Of the 18 men, I think 4 of us wrote stories connected to our father. I know I did. And Um, it's interesting because I don't even know where I'm at in the book. I wanted to dedicate something to my father, and that's another story too. I got to come on and tell you the story of my father. We didn't connect until I was 37. So for 37 years, but I'll give you something real quick, real simple. My father has 6 children, 5 different women. I have 6 children, 6 different women. But at the time, I had 6 children, 5 different women. My father was married in August. I was married in August. My father loves full-figured women. I love full-figured women. My father is 9 years older than his wife. I'm 9 years older than my wife. My father went to Jamaica for his honeymoon. I went to Jamaica for my honeymoon. We had never met each other. So when it says the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, my father and I basically were the same person without ever having meet, and then whatever having met, and then we met when I was 37 years old, and we've been connected ever since. And the beautiful part of that is that I had became, hey Kara, I had became him without knowing him. And I'm going to show you how God works things. And God has revealed so much to me once I gave my life to the Lord, that who knew that 2 years later from meeting my father for the first time, that I would be sitting across from my son, who I didn't know, who was 26 years old. But now I was in the seat that my father was in, and my son was in the seat that I was in, and we were meeting for the first time because his mother didn't tell him that I was his father. So when I say to you, I have stories to tell and a lot to write about, I do. But I allowed business, and I had to release myself from money. That was the one thing that if God saved me, God didn't just save me from panties. He didn't just save me from the flesh. He saved me for a love of money, which we all know is the root of all evil. Oh, here we go. I didn't know if you came back, Doc. Great to have you here. Which we all know is the root of all evil, but it's insidious what chasing money will do to you personally. And I seen it firsthand. And I spent so much time chasing money that I didn't spend as much time with my sons as I should have. And of course, I was out doing whatever. That I had to catch myself doing some of the same things I was doing now with KL. Is I had to stop and be like, no, let me go play with my daughter because I'm sitting at this computer, but I ain't making no money. So why am I here? And the biggest thing that I had to learn to do was let go and let God, like the song says. But it was even more so of being comfortable with less. And when I came to Detroit in 2016, Brother Keith Bennett said, we have to learn to do more with less. And that resonated with me because that's where my head was at. And since I've come home from Detroit and some other things that I've been doing, that's exactly what I've been doing, was trying to help other people to avoid the pitfalls that I was in and was able to climb out of. But now at 52, my dreams are different. My dreams are time. I pray all the time is, Lord, just grant me time because I wasted so much. And so I think because of all of that is why I forget to sell my books. Is that I think I worry so much about trying to help other people that I forget that doing business is not a bad thing. Asking people to buy your books is not a bad thing. Creating opportunities for business is not a bad thing because I'm not lured by the money. But I think because of the fact that I used to be almost like a drug addict, so like a drug addict, I tend to try to not go back to the things that would create a problem. But then I thought about it. If that's the case, then that means I'm not completely over those things. And when I realized that, and that paradigm shift is why I've been in a great place these last 2 years. But then I realized that my books deserve their voice back. And that's what I'm doing. I'm giving my work back the voice that it deserves, the voice that's always been there. I've put in a lot of work and I've created a lot, and I tend to forget it. And I still got another poetry book that is over there that I don't feel like getting up and getting again. The last poetry book that I was a part of. And my wife and I, since 2010, have worked on over 52 books. Of those 52, 4 are my own. But that's been the problem, is because I've helped everybody else and we've done everything else, but I wasn't putting the time in for myself. Well, that's changing. That's changing. I focus on me, and not in a selfish way, but I realized that I had to be somewhat selfish, because Lord knows I've tried to help everybody who's needed help, but I found that I was spending so much time giving things away that I wasn't making any money. So then what justifies that time? And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? As much as I love being there for everybody, the Lord kind of whispered to me like, when you going to take care of you? So that's what I'm doing. And that's what I've been on now. It was almost 2 hours, wherever it's been. I don't know. And that was another thing I was trying to cut down on, just coming on and rattling on. But I have stuff to talk about. And I try to make it entertaining for those that watch me. So if you have not read my books, and if you need to pick up any of my books, here you go. This is what you do. You go there, you give them that code. But here's what I need you to do. Make sure you like this video, like the other video. Make sure you share it. And when you share it, tell them why you're sharing it. And I appreciate you sharing. Don't get me wrong. I love all the shares. But here's what I need you to do. Like it, share it. But when you share it, you say, this is why you need to check this guy out. I will give them reason to support me. I will entertain them and give them reason to want to purchase the books or hire me as a counselor, because this is the passion that I bring to my counseling. This is the passion I bring to my writing. And I've missed that because my head has been down just trying to grind. And actually my friend from Italy, we talk every 5 or 6 weeks. He reminds me all the time. He said, Keith, do you ever just look at your accolades? I go, no, I really don't. He said, you need to. He said, you go so hard, you don't stop and really smell the roses. And I don't. And now I'm starting to. Actually, if you look over my left shoulder here, you see there's my first book on the wall there. And that's Ebony Magazine on the wall there that Tiff and I was in 2012. Tiff actually wrote the article, but it talks about our company. It talks about how we overcame the baby mama drama. And we were featured in the Red Tails. When Red Tails, the movie, came out all over the world, we were in that article. And Lord, it just gave us so much exposure. So I've sold books on every continent except for Antarctica. And I've pretty much sold in God knows how many countries, Russia and the Philippines and parts of Asia, and all because of being in Ebony Magazine. And I just got away from all that. Because I think for me, I tend to shy back into the back. All the accolades is cool, but to me, there's somebody else that needs help. And I had to stop that, not to turn away from people, but that it's okay to get a pat on the back. It's okay. You read that? Thank you. It's okay to say, hey, thank you. I did that, instead of just saying, hey guys, look at me. And I think because I spent 37 years making it so much about me, that I spent the last 15 just trying to do everything God has asked me to do, that I never stopped and said, and I kind of worry about that, because I see some people that don't know how to pull that back, where they make it so much about them that it's just almost distasteful. And I kind of was from one extreme to the other, but I'm trying to balance that. So anybody watching tonight, thank you, Kim, Lisa, Kira, Kim, Jose, I think Flex was on earlier. I thank all of you for taking the time out to hang out with me tonight. It's been cathartic, actually. Good night. Thank you. All right. And if you need anything, reach out, definitely. And let me know, because if you order the books, I'll probably be signing them. I think I have all the books here. So when you order it, I'll be signing it. So I appreciate you, Kim. Thank you for hanging out with me. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10. It'll only be a half an hour on the crisis stuff. but I definitely will be scheduling more stuff with the books, and that'll be a little more intimate. It'll probably be this time of night, so it'll probably be after 9:30 because I do my counseling in the evening with the families that I work with. So thank you so much for coming by tonight. And so with that said, guys, thank you for coming to the second part of this video. Thank you for hanging out with me. Like I said, like it, share it, but when you share it, tell somebody why you shared it. Tell somebody a little something about me and tell them to come check me out. They won't be disappointed. Tell them to come read my work. And more importantly, if they're in crisis, yes, I still got to do the business part. If they're in crisis, you reach out and you say, that's the guy that you need to talk to. And if they're not sure, if they're not ready, tell them to buy from Gigolo to Jesus. Give it to them as a gift. Say, read this man's history. This is why you need to talk to him. Because to save lives, you got to be able to extend yours out there to them, and that's what I'm doing. And I thank everybody that hung out with me tonight. I appreciate you. Okay? And again, if anybody wants to see this, it'll be on my page for a while, and then it'll definitely be on YouTube. You can go check it out. But leave a comment, and I appreciate you. I'm going to close out tonight. I'm going to jump off, and I just want to say thank you, allowing me to vent. I've had that stored up in me for a while. And I got some more though. I got some things to share with you, but I definitely will be coming on to talk about my writing, because like I said, I got to give my books back their voice. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. God bless. Sorry for monologuing so much tonight, but I'm so glad that I had you, Kira. Lisa, thank you. Kim, thank you. Kim, thank you. I think it was 2 Kims, yes. The other Kim. Flex, thank you. Jose, thank you. Lisa, don't talk about that old guy. You're not allowed to speak about that. You're not allowed to talk about him. Let me let y'all in on a secret, guys. Lisa knew me back then. So she got to see that guy firsthand. And so the fact that we're friends now, because she had every reason not to want to talk to a nasty guy like me, but she got to see my transition firsthand. And I respect her dearly, and I love her and her daughter, and thank you so much. And she supported my work. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. I love you too, man. You've always been supportive, man. I appreciate you. And guys, I'm here. Remember, when you share it, tell somebody why you're sharing it. Because sometimes when people see shares, they just kind of look at it and keep it moving. Say, hey, this is a guy whose work you need to check out. This is a guy, watch this video. Tell people what to do. And I'll take it from there when they reach out. And if they reach out to me, you can give them that discount code right there. If they go by the website, you say, use that, they'll get 20% off. I don't have a problem with giving some stuff away. I just want to get my books into the hands of people that I know are going to enjoy it. All right. Jose, thank you. Lisa, thank you. Kim, thank you. Kira, thank you. I will be back on tomorrow at 9:30, guys. Okay. Blessings. Have a good night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.